Hello everyone, and welcome back to our coverage of Ripple Swell. The effect of tokenized financial assets on capital markets is something we're going to talk about. People from BlackRock, Moody's, Robinhood, and CoinDesk are going to join the chat. Let's start. I'll give you background when I think it's important. I'm so glad you're with me. Let's go. The news is coming out so fast, guys. Make sure you're subscribed, following, and that the bell message is on. I'll let you know about everything that's going on with Ripple and XRP around the world. Let's go. Max Stein. At BlackRock, I work on the digital assets team. We work on tokenization, which brings crypto assets to public markets, and stable coins. I've been there for about 4.5 years. Hey everyone, my name is Rory Kalagi. I'm the head of Moody's Ratings Funds and Asset Management Ratings team. So, asset management firms are getting into the world of digital assets, and so are tokenized funds. They give tokenized funds ratings. After that came Nicola White. My name is VP, and I work at Robinhood as a crypto organization. Our attention was not only on Bitstamp, which we bought about 5 months ago, but also on our ability to provide liquidity and our global market-making contacts. Let's start things off, I guess. Let's talk about what we should talk about. Tokens for real-world assets like stocks. What do you think this market is? What do you think? How should we describe it? That is a great question. As I see it, it's ownership that's shown as a token on a public blockchain. And that ownership is a right to ownership in a security that isn't tied to the blockchain, nothing. Speaking of tokenization, I think it's important to really see the chance for everything to move on chain. To be honest, the reason we're having this conversation is that running a crypto or digital asset business is a fraction of what it costs in traditional finance because blockchain makes the business more efficient. So would we have been having this conversation a year ago, given the administration and all that? I would argue probably not, but I think now you've got regulatory headwinds that are kind of moving in your direction, as well as the cost side of this. And having worked in both standard finance and crypto, you can really see the benefit and why we're moving. If it's not just the price, it's all the good things that blockchain does, like making things more open, reducing costs, and removing hurdles. Things like 24/7 trading, globalization, and fast settlement used to be out of reach for small investors. Now we can get access to them. I mean, the pros of tokenization are so great that we could probably talk about them all day. The good things about tokenization could probably keep us busy all day. A friend of the family just started putting money into crypto. They said they wanted to take me to lunch and talk to me for a while. I began to talk about this. Yesterday, they called me and asked, "Hey, Rob, is there a chance that people won't use the technology? Could you put this back in the box?" And you might have been able to answer that question with maybe a few years ago, but now that everyone is trying to get on board with digital and blockchain, she just went over some of the biggest benefits that institutions need to use. There's no need to ask, should we do this now? You have to do it now that you're in the racing world. Some countries' financial markets may use blockchain for instant settlement and moving things at the speed of light for tiny fractions of a penny, while others will stick with the old system. The countries that use the newer technology will see the most growth, benefits, and cost savings. You are now in a race around the world to get the world and its financial markets on board with blockchain. Everything from stocks and bonds to derivatives, real estate, and loans will be here from now on. But I think that's really why we're talking about this. Cost is the most important thing, and then all the other perks are added on top of that. We believe we can move everything on chain. You're seeing that they're telling us what's going to happen when they say we can move everything on chain. All we have to do is understand it, accept it, plan for it, and take advantage of it, bringing together traditional and digital finance. For example, tokenized money market funds, which Max can talk about, are a traditional asset management product that people are familiar with. It's a big market in and of itself, worth $7 trillion in the US. But now we're trying to get institutional capital by putting that product on blockchain. I think most of the products work both on and off chain because institutional investors are worried about the risks of digitization, but you've seen growth in that product. I think there were about 0 assets in 2021. Now there are about 8 billion and growing. So where do you think the tokenized asset market is going now? I think we've gone from about 10 years of experiments and proofs of concepts where everyone knew it could save money, bring new ideas, and open up things that weren't possible with traditional assets. While tokenization has a lot of potential, it has been hard to make it work the way many of us want it to, and there are big problems that are getting in the way. But we've made some progress from proof of concept to real AUM, which is now, I think, around $25 billion worth of tokenized products on the chain. This is because the main problems that stopped this market from developing earlier have been slowly fixed. In the past, it was always hard to get entry. The things in question were not held by traditional buyers. Why? The market changed its focus a bit and said, let's focus on the people who already have access to crypto custody and can hold, interact with, or introduce these products by abstracting away that complexity to our existing user base. This started to build the flywheel a bit, but the biggest problem for the future is that it's still early days. What can you do to really get a two-sided market moving when you don't have all the right assets on chain? The fact that you can move the tokenized object around and program it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, means that there isn't always someone willing to buy it. This makes it very hard for that use case to take off. People are starting to make this happen by wishing it to be, whether it's by connecting liquidity on the blockchain to liquidity off the blockchain, or by seeding liquidity with institutional partners to get the markets moving before they really take off. Okay, so one of the main issues that Mr. Stein was talking about was parenting, right? There weren't any good ways for banking institutions to keep money safe. In that case, how can you safely hold, trade, or move that object once it has been tokenized? That's the infrastructure that your Ripples, Circles, and Fireblocks have been slowly building, right? As we move toward clear rules and regulations, financial institutions can build their goods and systems around a regulated market. When and how will we start to see a lot of this value move on the chain? We're still talking about tokenized goods as if they were their own thing. And I believe the next step is that you don't talk about tokenized goods. Because of the good things that will come from tokenization, it seems like it's just plain old business. We talk about tokenized money market funds, as you know. A tokenized stock is what we talk about. Those are two real-life examples that we can use right now. But really, we should just talk about stocks and money market funds at some point. The layer below that is tokenized. We're not quite there yet, though, and it needs to be a part of our world's ecosystems. It moves on its own 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it becomes the norm. Where do you think the demand for this will come from in, say, 10 years? That's a good question.